So, welcome to this session, all about the principle of the Wheel of Life. I'm happily joined today by Yvonne Webb. She's a successful and experienced business coach who helps leaders and teams maximise their business potential. She spent 25 years, does it feel that long, Yvonne?
Yeah.
In FMCG companies, including Coca-Cola and Cadbury, where she works in the senior management roles with customers such as Tesco, Asda and Amazon. And she now works with businesses like ours who have ambition to fulfil their potential and want to ensure their teams are engaged, motivated and driven with a clear purpose. Once goals have been established, Yvonne supports and challenges organisations to achieve them. In the last 2 years, she's provided support to us at Thomson Cooper, and during a recent virtual session with the team, Yvonne introduced us to the principle of the Wheel of Life. It's a tool that everyone can use to improve the balance in their life, and we want to share it with you. So enough from me, I'll hand over to Yvonne, the expert, so she can explain more.
Thank you, Carrie. Yes, the Wheel of Life is something designed to help us to stop and reflect on where we are in life. Quite often, we get on the hamster wheel, whatever that might be for us, and we just keep going and keep doing. And often we'll hear ourselves say things like, oh, can't believe it's September already, or I'm just so busy, or I've got back-to-back meetings. We just get caught up sometimes with life, and this is an opportunity for those who want to pause, reflect on where they are. And the Wheel of Life really is a high-level look at your life in different angles. So you can actually choose to decide how you're doing in some places and where you might want to focus your attention to try and enhance the quality of life that you have at the moment. But let me show you what the diagram is, and it's quite easy to just draw this, or I think you're going to make it accessible afterwards, Carrie.
Yeah.
Let me introduce it to you, and then we'll just build it as we go. So what you can see now is the Wheel of Life, and as I said, there's 8 different segments to it, and you've got a scale. So the center is 0, and every line going out is a different scale up to 10. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you to grade yourself in each of these sections, and grade yourself on a 1 to 10 basis, or a 0 to 10 basis if something's really poor. So 0 is being poor and 10 being really strong. And at the end of it, what we'll do is we'll have some shape within that circle frame, which should pictorially demonstrate to you where you might want to choose to spend some time in your life. So let's just bring it up to start with. So we'll start with family and friends. So think about your relationship with your family and relationships. So with your family, have you promised yourself to go and see great Auntie Pat and not quite done it, or thought that you should see her during lockdown and it's just not happened? Is there a relationship perhaps that's more fragmented than you would like it to be? Or is there a family member who you need to spend some time with, to actually spend some good time with them, to hear the stories and hear the chat about their life? Is there someone in the family that's perhaps strange that you want to try and rebuild that relationship? And the idea is give yourself a score between 0 and 10, and then draw a line just there on the wheel as to what that is. Now, with each of these as we go through, as you're thinking with them, what I'd encourage you to do is write down a couple of actions that you might want to take. So, for example, here might be that you see your brother more, or go on date nights with Jimmy or Jeannie or whoever it is. But actually think about, if you're scoring this as an 8, what couple of actions do you need to take to get it to 9? We don't need to get to 10, just the next number up. So whatever you've scored yourself, what are a couple of actions you could do there to move yourself up a little? And then we're going to do the same with friends and community. So how strong are your friendships? Are you seeing everyone that you wanted to? Is there someone in your past that you've lost contact with that you would like to strike up that friendship again, and you would like to rebuild what friendship you had in the past? Without being too morose about it, but I just recently had someone pass away who I was at school with, and actually that opportunity for me to connect with them is lost because caught in the mist of time. So who is there that you would like to speak to? And what about community? Are you giving back to community? Are you doing what you want to do to give back? And again, that might be stronger for some of us than others, but there might be something you want to do to help, be it litter picking or doing something at your local school for the kids to help share your knowledge. give yourself a score again out of 0 to 10 and pop that on there to get a line in. And again, think about what are the couple of actions that you might take to move your score up to the next level again, not to 10, but just to the next level. So if it's volunteering or whatever, or seeing people that you've lost contact with. Then fun and recreation. Some of us don't plan this in. What floats your boat? What makes you have fun? What makes you have that real belly laugh? And how often are you having that belly laugh? What was it you enjoyed when you were younger? Maybe it's a hobby or an interest that really was just you. And as the layers of life have come on, you've maybe lost sight of it. Or maybe there's something that you kept promising to do, like, I don't know, learning to surf or jumping out of a plane or whatever the thing is for you. What fun and recreation have you maybe promised yourself that you've not gotten to yet? Because you and I both know time just rolls on, and before you know it, it'll be next month, next year. So what's going to make you stop and put a line in the sand and make that happen?
Okay.
Again, give yourself a score, and what are the couple of actions you want to do to move it forward? And then when it comes to our health, we're quite good at looking after our physical health often, but less so in our mental health. Do you need to spend more time there and thinking about what are you allowing yourself to be exposed to that's perhaps impacting you or impacting your mood or how you act or how you feel? What does health mean to you? For some people, it might mean running a marathon. For others, it might mean, being active and just moving more. Some people might want to achieve a set time. Some people are happy, just improving the level of activity they've got. Healthy means different to different people. So try and get in your head, if you were the healthier version of you, what would you be doing that you're not now? What would you be exposing yourself to that you're not now? And again, give yourself a score and just write down a couple of things that you want to do to improve your health. And what about your attitude to money? Where are you with how you approach money? And by this, I mean, have you thought about what you want and how much is enough? Have you thought about investments? Have you thought about passive income? Have you thought about how much you want to earn, how much you want to give away? And again, what's your attitude to money? How comfortable are you with the money situation you have at the moment? And what do you need to do to address that? Now, personal growth is a real big one for me. So as a coach, I work with business owners to make their businesses grow and to improve time, team, money and businesses. But that all starts with personal growth. It all starts with you. In businesses, owners will only, their businesses will only flourish compared to how much they learn and how much they expose themselves to. The people that say, I know, are the people that will limit their growth and progress. So for business, what are you learning? What are you growing? What are you listening to? What books are you reading? What webinars are you attending? And from a personal perspective as well, if you want to take up yoga, well, what are you doing about learning that? How are you going out of your way from doing the norm to actually expose yourself to things that will help you grow as a person? Because most of us have potential that's untapped and we don't spend time there. So what is it that you could be doing to make you a better version of you? Nothing wrong with who you are just now, but we can all be better versions of ourselves. What does that look like for you? So what do you need to read? What do you need to sign up to? Who do you need to talk to? Because we know that, we're the average of the 5 people you spend time with. It's a Jim Rohn saying. So who are you spending time with? Who are you spending time with and what's the best for you that's going to help you grow as a person and elevate you? Give yourself a score, and again, a couple of commitments that you're going to give to yourself. And then your physical environment, what you surround yourself with. Environment is so important to us to behave optimally, to grow optimally. So, your physical environment that surrounds you, have you set it out in the best way? Now, some of us might be still working hybrid, we might be back in the office. What are you doing to give yourself the best chance of putting yourself in the best physical environment that's going to help you? So I think we've got there, it might be you've got to extend the house, or you need to get double screens if you've not got double screens in your workstation. Again, give yourself a score and a couple of actions. And then lastly, your career. Is your career where you want it to be? You might not be a business owner. You might be in employment. So are you really clear and intentional about where you want your career to be? Most of us just think about the next step, not the step beyond that or the step beyond that, and actually taking the time to map that out and get some idea of what feels right and what doesn't feel right is helpful. Deselecting things is as important as selecting things, because it can help us navigate the path that's going to be best for us in our career. So have you given some thought to that? Who could you talk to help you with that? You know, there's loads of people out there at the moment, they're career change specialists. You know, you can get people to help you on this. And again, give yourself a score out of 10 and a couple of options. And at the end, you should be, you know, you should have some kind of funny, squiggly circle on the go, but it should make it really easy to draw your attention to the places that might be of most interest to you. And I'm not saying that each of these has to be at 10, that would be unrealistic. But, you know, it might be that fun and recreation isn't important to you, and that's okay too, because it's up to you, it's your life. But what is it when you draw your shape that draws your attention and makes you think, actually, I want to spend some time there? And I guess that in essence is the wheel of life, Carrie.
Okay, so I've got my completed wheel of life there, and obviously some people may come out with quite a number of action points. What should you do next? They might feel a bit overwhelmed by it all, and obviously you can't achieve everything all at once. So how would you suggest that they approach it once they've got their completed wheel?
I would find some way of prioritizing it, and it might be that, you know, time is a good way to do it. Of what should you do first, because it might be that, you know, old Auntie Pat that you're not seeing, actually that might be one of the ones you want to do first, because that is sensible in the way of priority. So I would maybe only choose 2 or 3 things to start with, and only once you've got those done would I then move on to look at something else. But I would think about what are the 3 that resonate most to me, what when I look at it speaks to me and says you need to do something about this, Yvonne. And I would choose just 3 and try and time frame those over the next few weeks and get those done, because it would be overwhelming to try and do everything at once when you look at all the comments.
Yeah. And then thinking about, you know, how do you measure your success, and how often should you be reviewing and looking at your wheel and seeing if your priorities have changed?
Well, I guess pictorially it's quite easy to see if you've made improvement when you go back and look at it. I guess I would say the whole exercise, maybe do it once a year. It's entirely up to you, but I do it once a year. It's a good way of putting a line in the sand to see where I've moved forward. But the actions that come out, I diarise the actions and put them into my diary, because we know change happens in the diary. So, you know, it'd be a waste to do this exercise and not diarise the actions, because you need a way of making sure those happen. Another way to look at it, depending on how comfortable you are, is get someone to hold you accountable. And that could be a friend, you know, your husband, your wife, doesn't matter. Have someone to hold you accountable on, actually, are you doing the things that you said were important to you when you looked at this?
Yeah, I was going to say that. It's always good to have someone else challenging you and measuring your success and making sure that you are doing what you're set out to do. Because it's easy for, as you say, time to just run away.
Yeah, you know? and often the first person we let down is ourselves.
Yes, exactly.
You
know? Okay. Okay, well, I think in terms of that, any other learnings they could take out of the wheel of life? Anything you'd like to
add? Just do it. You know, don't sit and watch this and not do it, because that's a waste, and you don't want to get further down the road and regret the fact. You don't want a life of regret. You don't want to regret the fact that you didn't take action when you could have done. You know, at the time we're recording this, we're hopefully just coming out of the worst of the pandemic, fingers crossed, though. Yeah. We always say that. But wouldn't it be a good time to draw a line in the sand and actually get really intentional and really purposeful about what you stand for and what you're going to do and what you're going to achieve? And from a personal perspective, this is a great way of doing it.
Yes, it ultimately would, because lots of people will have reflected over the last 18 months and priorities will have changed and thought processes. I think that's clear all around from different people that you speak to. So
yeah, and knowing that it's a choice. Everything you do is a choice. It's a purposeful choice. Where you are at the moment is because of the choices you've made in life so far. So now you've got a chance to be real purposeful about the choices you're going to make.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. So our plan is that we'll be sharing the Wheel of Life so that everyone can complete it on the Thomson Cooper website as part of this. And if anybody wants to follow up with Yvonne and talk about the Wheel of Life or how she can help you with any of your other business goals, she can be found at Yvonne Webb at actioncoach.com on her email, or of course she's on LinkedIn and doing lots of video sharing there on different elements of how she can support you. It was great. Well, thank you for joining me today, Yvonne.
Thanks, Carrie.
Hopefully see you soon.